But I think we're still waiting for one more member.
Tyler Schaefer is having some computer problems and is going to call in as well.
Okay. So we have all 4 members that will be attending tonight?
Not yet. Tyler's trying to call in.
Okay. Just let me know when he appears.
Sounds good. Nate, are you on? Can you change their name so we know who's who?
The 9-7 number is Sylvia.
Tyler?
On? Yeah. Okay, you need some help? Oh, no, there you go. I see your name now. Are you on? Okay.
You're kind of quiet, Tyler, but I can hear you.
I can kind of hear him too.
I think we can go ahead.
Yep, that should be everybody.
Okay, thank you. It is now a little bit after 5:30 on Thursday, February the 18th, which is the advertised time and date for this meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So I will now call the meeting to order. I would first of all like to introduce the members of the planning staff. You can see Lori Casey in the upper right-hand corner, and Dylan Pipinich is next to her. Also present, but you can't see her, is Carol Laird, the administrative assistant, who will be recording the minutes of this meeting. The board members who are present tonight are Garrett Craig. You can see Garrett, he's there with the black baseball cap on. Tyler Schaefer is having internet problems, but he will be appearing via phone, as will Sylvia Cunningham, who also has internet problems. My name is Dave Wing, and I'm the chairman of the meeting and will be conducting the meeting tonight. The first matter that we need to consider ourselves with is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Would anybody, has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes? And if so, would somebody like to make a motion with regard to their approval?
Mr. Chairman, this is Tyler, and I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Would anybody care to second that motion?
I would second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, it's been moved by Tyler Schaefer and seconded by Garrett Craig that we approve the minutes of the last meeting. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. I think everybody said aye from Sylvia. And that should be it, I believe. The minutes are approved by voice acclamation. Since there are only 4 members present tonight, the applicants have an opportunity to continue consideration of their application until the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Adjustment, which I believe should be Thursday, March the 18th. I understand that one of the applicants has already exercised that motion, and that would be Daniel Hall, is that correct?
No.
Okay, it'd be Mr. Vesco? Okay, so Mr. Vesco isn't present in his meeting, his consideration of his matter, rather, is continued until March the 18th, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So the single matter that we have before us tonight is special use permit application 21-000003. And that is an application by Daniel Hall. And Mr. Hall, are you present? I see your name, but
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Hall is present apparently also via telephone. Mr. Hall, just to make sure, do you want to proceed with the matter tonight? Because you do need to have all 4 votes for it to be approved. And if you have any concerns about getting the 4 votes, you can continue consideration of your matter until March the 18th. So do you wish to proceed tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a presentation from the planning staff with regard to this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Let me share my screen. So special use 21-3 is an application to locate a short-term rental in an existing residence. The proposal is to rent out a 2-bedroom residence for overnight stays and short-term rentals through online hosting programs like Airbnb. And here's the location. It's at 1919 Harvard Street. This is the aerial photo right across the street. In this vacant parcel that's there now is where Ace Hardware is. So some staff findings. Short-term rentals are recognized as special uses allowed in any residential zoning district, provided that it's in harmony with the neighborhood and not found to be contrary to the public interest. So we go through the 20-question review criteria. The applicant responded to the 20 questions, and so did staff. We'll go through the high points. Some of the questions that are combined, they're very similar. This right here is the applicant's parcel. There's a house, a 2-bedroom house and a garage on it. Again, it's across the street from Ace Hardware. So the location and character of the property, it's located in an R1 single-family residence zone. The house is about 784 square feet, and it's on a 6,300 square foot lot. You can see the sign, that's the house with the 3 trees. And the location of the surrounding buildings, this is looking to the east. Residential homes, traditional houses on the left there on Harvard with Ace Hardware on the right. Substantial changes that have occurred in the surrounding land uses since the adoption of the ordinance. The parcel that Ace Hardware is on was originally zoned R1, and in 2019, after they built the hardware store, they changed the zoning designation to C2. And this property is located in what's called the suburban mixed place type in the comprehensive plan. You guys have been hearing me talk about the comprehensive plan. We just adopted it. This place type is exhibits mixed residential development pattern, kind of just right off of urban areas, and they traditionally act as a buffer for the traditional neighborhoods. Proposed fencing, screening, and landscaping. They haven't proposed to change anything. The landscaping, he's got these nice big trees in the yard. It's very residential type. Proposed vehicle access, circulation, and parking. He's got a nice long driveway. The garage is at the back of the parcel. Plenty of parking for guests there. Would like to say that handicap access, as far as vehicle access, there's stairs on the front of the residence. I believe there's a door on the back. I don't know if there's stairs to get into the back of the house back there. I didn't go into the parcel, but as far as handicap access in and out for the Airbnb, staff feels that the applicant should discuss that in their listing. Proposed signs and lighting. What you see on the screen is the signs that are allowed in a residential zone. The 1 square foot sign and a directional sign. So if the applicant chooses to identify it as an Airbnb, one thing, and this house does have it that we always suggest in these, is that the address is very visible, so that somebody that rent this place sight unseen doesn't accidentally go to the neighbor's house in the middle of the night or something, to make sure that it's properly labeled. And the lighting it's not changed. It's the same as any typical residential neighborhood. The potential nuisances with this application, just anytime you have a more of a commercial use in a residential, there's increased traffic, parking, and noise. As far as the traffic goes, as long as the applicant abides by the occupancy level, as far as the building code goes, with how many people are allowed in the house, it's a 784 square foot house. As long as he meets those requirements and not advertising, sleeps 12, then the traffic shouldn't be very substantial. Same with the parking. There's plenty of off-street parking. And with the noise, these Airbnb and the online hosting programs, they allow you to set rules as far as, no parties, no noise after 10 p.m. or something. And we'd ask that the owner does that to be consistent with the residential neighborhood. Public health and safety. One thing that is required is the health department. Regulations for rooms for rent. They need a public accommodations license. I believe the health department has to inspect it. And it's the same with as I stated, with the occupancy level of the building. The building official and the fire marshal set that occupancy level, so to prevent overcrowding and make sure that it's safe in there for the short-term residents. Next question is that the use conforms to the objectives of the comprehensive plan. I talked about this a little bit. The comprehensive plan is the suburban mixed place type. Place type typically buffers more traditional established neighborhoods from more urban areas. It's right on that line where the commercials across the street. And this a little bit more impactful residential use or short-term staying is consistent with that in the comprehensive plan, and the zoning ordinance allows these by special use, so that's why we're here tonight. But the classification won't adversely affect the nearby properties or their occupants. Again, we kind of talked about the nuisances. This is a low impact commercial nature. Staff feels that it would appear that it would have minimal impact on the adjacent properties and owners, as long as it's not overcrowded and all the things that I've stated before. So in conclusion, staff recommends that the Zoning Board of Adjustment approve special use permit 21-3, provided the following conditions are met, and there's 4 of them. Applicant shall be required to secure a state of Montana public accommodations license through the Butte-Silver Health Department. Number 2, any remodeling of the residence performed to accommodate the proposed business would be required to meet all applicable building code and health code requirements as required by the Butte-Silver Building Code Department and the Health Department respectively. All necessary approvals must be granted prior to the applicant receiving a final business license. The applicant shall be limited to occupancy levels determined by the Butte-Silver Building Code Department and the Butte-Silver Fire Marshal. The occupancy level shall be determined prior to final business license approval. And that the applicant will be limited specifically to the business as stated and approved. Any future business expansions, changes in business or building expansions will require review by the Zoning Board of Adjustment. With that, that's all I have. I'd welcome any questions.
I'll now ask the board members if they have any questions with respect to the presentation by the staff. Okay. Not hearing anybody. I will now ask the applicant if the applicant cares to add anything to the information that was provided by the staff that might assist the board in making its decision tonight. So the applicant I know is present. Do you have anything to add, sir? Mr. Hall?
No, sir. No, he covered everything quite well.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll now ask if, and this will have to be done by telephone, and the number that would be used would be 497-5009. And I will now ask anybody that is listening to this particular meeting if they have any, if they are in approval of or have any objections to this particular application. So anybody that's for this proposal now has the opportunity to call in and speak in favor of the application. We'll allow a few minutes for that to occur. Nobody? Okay. Okay. There have been no calls in support of this application, so I will now ask if anybody who is listening would have any objections to this application. And again, the number for them to call is 497-5009, and phone that number if you have any objections to this application. And again, we will give a few minutes for that to happen. Okay, we have received no calls in opposition, so I will now close the public portion of the meeting and open it for board discussion. Do any board members have any comments with regard to this matter?
Mr. Chairman, this is Tyler. I see no issues with this whatsoever, and I'd be willing to make a motion, but would like to give the other board members a chance to say their piece too.
Okay. Do any other board members have any thoughts with regard to this matter, or is somebody prepared to second Tyler's motion?
I don't have any concerns either, Mr. Chairman. And I would second Tyler's motion as well.
So it's been moved by Tyler that we approve the application, and that motion has been seconded by Garrett Craig. I will now ask individually for people to vote in favor of it. Garrett, I understand that you are in favor of it. Would that be correct?
Correct.
Tyler, your vote, of course, would be a yes vote. Is that also true?
That is correct, Chairman.
And Sylvia, what is your vote with regard to this matter?
I'm in favor of it.
I am in favor of it also. So there's 4-0 vote in favor of the application, and the application has therefore been approved. The motion has been approved, and you'll be receiving a letter from the planning staff to that effect. And that letter would be setting forth the 4 conditions that are applicable to this approval. That concludes that particular matter. And the next, or the previous matter by Mr. Vesco, 21-2, has been continued to the next meeting. Do we have any further business?
Mr. Chairman, we do not have any other business tonight.
Okay. I will therefore adjourn the meeting and thank you all for being present tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Oh, excuse me.
M-
I guess I better pop in and say, as before, we do have written voting ballots that we have to fill out. And again, you can do it different ways. Easy for me, I'll just drop it off on my way out of here. But everybody else can either fax it, or they can email it, or they can bring it up to the planning office, or the planning office will send somebody to collect it from you. So let's not forget to do that. We do have to get our written motions in, signifying whether we're votes for the motion, like I did right there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's quick. Yeah, it's all right, huh?